share the screen one more time, but when I share the screen this time, hold on real fast. Let me see something. Because he also talked about my portfolio, like, yo, he ain't got no portfolio. One thing I learned to do very quickly is hold on. I learned to do very quickly once I learned that we could upload to YouTube. I learned to put all my work that's on YouTube, and I still haven't found all of the things that I'm in, but I learned to put all the things that I'm in a folder, right? How many? 28 videos, right? Now look, let's look at this.
Yeah, I know this is your topic. That's why I said something to you.
Right.
We just sitting here waiting for Elk to come back.
Here is a debate that I was in. Is the Anunnaki anthropomorphic or an entity? Part 1. So in this debate, I was standing on the side that the Anunnaki are anthropomorphic ideas, right? Not literal beings. And the brother that I was debating against had the standpoint that they were literal beings that actually walk this earth, things of that nature. If I could blow this up, let me show y'all the crowds that we hold, man. The crowds that we hold. Look, I've been doing this, bro. When y'all talking about packing out a house, hold on. Where am I zooming? And I can't zoom in on this. I want to zoom in on this thing so I can see. Oh, but we got my man Shay in the building. We got God Energy in the building. We got Cosmic in the building. You see what I'm saying? Issa Queen is hosting. You see what I'm saying? So, when we talk about my portfolio and the things.
Yeah, I know this is your topic. That's why I said something to you.
My portfolio and the things that I've done, I'm well documented in these streets. This is another Doula Concepts debate that I'm in. And again,
my time says 7.
This is on the Beagle stage, right? So we got how many people on the panel? One. Hold on. Dang, I hate when this thing come up. How many people we got on this panel? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got 11 people on this panel, man. We packs out houses, 379 people watching. So I'm not new to this. I'm most definitely true to this. Way before I showed up here on YouTube. Ring of Fire. Look at this. Where we do this.
And Akhenaten came early.
TikTok. So when we talk about, oh, well, I've been in different arenas and different da-da-da. Me too, man. I've been all over. There's not been a platform that you've been on that I have not been on. You feel me? Look at this. And every debate I'm showing you, I won. Look at this. Smoke Session. This is Sinetta's right here. Smoke Session. Calling boys out. Chief X, Kazar, Yara, Cosmon. Been doing this.
Movement.
Hold on. Also, hold on one second. This is another debate I did over there at the Ring of Fire. My first argument, Alley. Hold on one second. Where is it? I just got it today. I'm looking for it. Here it is right here. Bang. Shout out to the other Super Wavy, right?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Hey, JJ just called him out. JJ just called A1 out. You see it in the screen? JJ got getting at him.
Up here as well.
Hamid Convent and to expand their seed and things like that. So they were taking
had them jumping. You hear me? I had 1, 2, 3 more. Listen, busting heads over here. I had them leaving the panel, coming back up on the. Yo, listen, man. When I go into other platforms,
right now, my brother
is dangerous. I just had to show off real quick. When I go into other platforms, man, it gets dangerous. Right, I really be busting niggas in their head with the information, right? And it don't matter 1 versus 4, 1 versus 5, 1 versus 3. I'm still going to show up and do what I do. You feel me?
All
But
right.
wait, I land my plane with that. I just wanted it to be known. I most definitely got a track record in these streets.
Good stuff. Good stuff, bro.
Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Let's get a topic started. What's up with y'all?
Man, I got a whole lot. I can throw some topics. I got a lot of topics in my archives you can jump into if I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Let me see.
Y'all brothers,
Go
go
through.
ahead. Kick it off.
Okay,
Kick
let
it
me
off.
just. I'm gonna roll out just to see what you guys think. Okay, we got Trump looking at eliminating taxes for people making under 150K. You got that going on right now. You got Netanyahu just made a statement saying Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan or evil. Evil always overcomes good. He said, "God, that's go." He said that shit the other day. You got they trying to bring back prayer in schools and everything. Trump trying to bring back prayer. You got let me see what else you got. You got Trump. He canceled all the immigrant truck drivers' licenses. He's looking at canceling all of that shit. So you got that's a whole all kinds of ramifications.
That
You
man
got
Trump.
it's a lot of shit, a lot of stuff. Netanyahu's videos coming up that people think is all AI. You got that. You got 6 fingers on one hand and all this shit. He's in at a coffee shop drinking coffee, but he got his coffee never goes down in the cup. You got that going on. That's a hot topic.
Oh, really
It's
fast, brother Sadiq, because I want to pick one of those topics, but really fast, if I may.
I got a whole lot of them for sure. I got like hundreds of them
We
for
got the
sure.
Soul Tribe coming through at 9 o'clock tonight Eastern Time. 8 o'clock, I think it's 8 o'clock Central. That's my family from Bigo that I just said I was the founder of. We're going to be seeing some of the people who passed the torch unto me. We're going to be seeing my mama Queen, my elder Ezreal. Hopefully we get to see my brother Cream. I'm gonna see if my sister Butterfly Queen can come through. We want to just be, hey, hopefully we're going to be chopping it up, just talking about the good old times and how we was able to build the type of family. You know what I'm saying? And, just expose this side of the streets to a little bit of how y'all got to see the humble mystic of today that y'all see.
Facts, bro. Facts, bro. I said, what you say, humble? You had to come out there and extinguish any doubt on having, in terms of not having a track record, huh? I hear you, brother. For sure. Netanyahu, he got on. He was pissed off that Iran burnt the Baal statue. And that was part of his that Netanyahu considered that a declaration of war on Israel. That's
Mm.
interesting.
Wait, somebody burnt the Baal statue?
Yeah, Netanyahu got it's a report shows that Netanyahu says Iran burning Baal statue is a symbolic declaration of war against Israel.
Is it because it happened on the land of Israel, or is it because of the statue relevance itself?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. Some would probably say it could be the statue itself, which is what I would probably assume.
Now, if it's the statue itself, now see, this is what's interesting. I'm gonna cam up really fast because if it's the statue itself, this goes into what me and Kazat debated is a little bit because it talks about, or it will show that even the present day Israelite people, or quote unquote, who we call Israelite people, still have a tie or still have a Canaanite tie
Right.
to these gods.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it goes back to them being Canaanite people. And
Yeah.
if they're Canaanite people, and that's the thing about, I was saying, and me and Kazar face off. Kazar got to hold up this lie. He got to hold up this lie that we was exiled out of Egypt, brought into Canaan, we took over. He got to hold up this lie because that's what the Bible says. You see what I'm saying? But when we look at what archaeology say, we know archaeology says that it was a Canaanite collapse, a social class collapse, and the people from the inlands, who at this time were all called Canaanite, moved and started separating and started becoming their own tribe. And we know there were a group of people called the Shashu. Now, when you start doing your history on the Shashu, the one interesting thing you found out is there were many groups of people called Shashu. So we got to say one of the groups of Shashu came down, and we can't distinguish, because people like to say, oh, these were the early Israelites, and we can't distinguish who these people were. We just know one of the early the Shashu came down. They met with the early Israelites, which they spoke Canaanite at that time, and they merged their cultures together. Around the 12th century BCE is where we start getting distinct signs of a distinct group, right? As far as the 4-bedroom housing, I know a lot of people like to say, oh, well, we can see stuff like that. Yeah, we can see Palestinian multi-bedroom housing, but they weren't the style in which the Canaanite 4-bedroom housing were. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot that goes into a lot of that. But I want to come back to what Sadiq was saying, because that's important. If even the modern Israelites of today still hold some type of claim to that statue, it shows their Canaanite connectivity. I'll end up playing with that.
Yeah, that's interesting. We can see what some of the reports may say about it. Get the official public. Let's see.
You see the topic on the screen, y'all?
Let me see. Oh, I don't see it.
Yeah, I see it. But hold on, I'm gonna step in my office and then I'm talk about that, because I saw that video of Netanyahu speaking with his and it looked like an AI sleeve.
Right.
Shirt
Yeah.
sleeve came out from under there. I guess they're trying to say he did. And then I want to talk about that Genghis Khan Jesus thing real tight. But let me get somewhere quiet real quick.
Cool. And I got a lot more subjects too. We get done. There's no limit to subjects, so.
Most definitely. All right, so can we put this debate this right here? Can we put this in some type of context? Are we just debating Jesus' worldview on war versus Genghis Khan's worldview on war?
Let me see what did they say. I mean, it's interesting that he would say evil is very powerful and it can win. And it can win, dude. Like, what? You know what? Given that we got the timing of him saying this, along with the AI accusations, I'm not sure if people are going to assume that he would never say that. That's not really him, you know.
And I'm gonna play the video here shortly, but pretty much he's saying you goyim don't stand a chance, and you'll never stop us. That's pretty much what he's letting people who follow Jesus letting them know, because he doesn't believe in that. So it's really like you have to read. You don't necessarily have to read between the lines. I think it's right in your face when he says it.
Right.
But yeah, we're about to get into it. I'm looking for this video right now. Okay, here it goes. For this and take this down.
Hey brothers, I'm gonna chime in on the subject. I'm gonna chime in a minute on this subject. I'm going to my computer room to hook up because I was on my phone. So
take your time. I'm about to play the video and everything so everybody can see what's going on. Shout out to Caesar in the building. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I wanted to ask y'all about something too. Whenever y'all get through discussing this and chopping that up, about how Trump is raging war on the media. You know what I'm saying? He just said
we can definitely get into that.
Media people's licenses, you know what I'm saying, for telling the real story, what's going on over there in Israel and Iran. So I just think that that's something that might kind of have something to affect people like us. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'll get through discussing that. So I'd like to bring that up.
Let's see what he says.
Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. Jesus Christ.
Evil will overcome good. Oh my goodness.
That's a real motivational speech there for you, huh?
Well, history proves that,
wow,
unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice. If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harking on a lot of fake news, but also a lot of short-sightedness, and do not see the historic period and the historic struggle that we are engaged in now. Well, history proves that.
Well, there's a little more context on that. How do you feel about that?
It's very interesting. That's very interesting. I know because Trump, he also made a comment similar that they're preparing. He's talking to the troops about preparing for Jesus Christ's return during his talks to the military. He's made public in the news recently. It's interesting that Israel would speak in a similar context alongside such. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm not sure what to make of it, to be honest.
I think that Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel as a whole, they got something on America, Trump, however you want to say it, or whatever, to get us into these wars. Because I want somebody to explain to me, because I ain't really no just religious, person like that. But what do they mean when they're saying Christian Judeo values? Like, what do they mean by that when the Christians and the Jews don't even get along, but so far in this realistic world, they together? How do you take all of that together?
I could chime in on that right quick. So the thing is, Christian / Judea values. So the thing is, Judaism, they don't value the New Testament. They don't believe that the Messiah, Jesus, has came yet. So you got those two factions that really don't even disagree, and that's why Netanyahu, he made those statements. He made those, and then even within Judaism, you have Hasidic Jews, and you have Hasidic, and then what's the other one called? It's Hasidic Jews
and Sephardic
and Orthodox.
Orthodox,
Sephardic and Orthodox. Good looking out, Humble. Good looking out. So the thing is, these Jews within their own self are even arguing, because super Orthodox Jews, they pissed off. They're pissed off because the prophecy said that they wouldn't even supposed to even go back to Israel until Christ come and they build the new temple. So you got super Orthodox Jews that don't like Orthodox, Hasidic and Sephardic Jews, because they believe that the prophecy hasn't been filled for them to even go back to inherit that land. So they think that a lot of Jews over there now, they basically jumped the gun. And they over there, and they not supposed to be over there because Christ hasn't came back, as far as what they said, and the new temple hasn't been reestablished. So you got these whole factions within Judaism warring against their own self, and then you got the so-called Christians going against them, because Christians they believe in Christ. Judaism, they believe Christ hasn't even came yet. They're still waiting for him to come. So that's where you have that little quarrel within inside that community right there, brother.
Yeah, this is interesting. Very interesting. Many are supporting Trump's comments, and other some of the servicemen are complaining that they're being told by the military commanders and so forth that their war with Iran is a holy war of sorts, and that this will usher in the return of Christ. This is very interesting, which I recall from my Christian days that when Israel is so-called attacked, that's supposed to, when so many nations get together and attack these guys, it would usher in the so-called return of Christ. Very interesting timing. I wonder what's coming up behind that. I guess time will tell. But it's very interesting.
And that's crazy you mentioned Trump because Robert Mueller passed away, right? Trump said it good.
Man, and I think
good.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how the hell somebody died? You like good. That boy
Man.
Trump that boy is crazy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That boy is crazy, man.
Yeah, they like it, and it's the Armageddon. Some reports are talking about Armageddon. The reports is using. It's interesting that I would say the Western world more or less is looking to the U.S. to try to save the Western world collectively, and Trump is being held as at least projected in the media, especially among his own constituency, based on some of the reports that he's like a Messianic. He's being held like a Messianic figure. And they're really hoping that he really pushed this thing forward. We'll see,
I mean, he when Trump ran, he didn't make good on his vow. His vow was make America great again. Then he go over there, he continued to give Israel billions of dollars, and he side with them. So not only among his constituents, for the people that voted for him, they pissed off. They like you. You supposed to be taking care of the crib first. You supposed to be taking care of home first. And it's like he got his head so far up Israel ass, it's a shame. I'm like, it seemed like Netanyahu telling him what to do. Or like, somebody from over on that side is giving him orders. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but I mean, I'm a Bible believer. I'm an Israelite brother, so I think the Bible was valid because all these prophecies are coming true. You know what I'm saying? And the way the story is playing out is exactly on how the Bible said it was going, play out. But that's a conversation for another day, though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's something how he let these immigrants in here on the truck driving side and let them, because some of them couldn't speak English. Some of these Indians and these Latinos and Mexicans. Now he's taking their licenses back. And, you got the guys up there in Minnesota, a lot of the immigrants up there, particularly the Somalis, are running scams hand over fist for who knows how many years. They're turning their back. They betrayed them, the system. Now the feds are going after them. This is interesting. They're out there, and we know that Elon and Trump got together and go over the books over there in D.C. Some months, maybe almost a year ago or so, and found rampant corruption. And they're trying to so-called drain the swamp. It's interesting how they let this stuff fester, and then they turn on you and use you to clean up the system to show that they're taking a new leaf to take this country back. We noticed this too. During the pandemic, we noticed they were telling people not to pay rent. Then they came after the people who were so many years, so many months and years behind on rent. They never did let the rent go. They just said you don't have to pay it. And I kept telling people, I said, man, don't believe this stuff, man. Get your license renewed, pay your rent. And we noticed he's using that Messianic energy he has to so-called clean the country up, hence so-called making it great again. And he was here praying publicly. We said we need to bring prayer back. Jesus is going to return. We're having a Messianic holy war and all this stuff. It's very interesting. There's another thing. Yeah. What's that, brother?
You're right, Siddiqui. Go ahead. I was just saying, you're right, brother. Go ahead.
Have you guys noticed this? There's a global condemnation of the LGBT community now. almost every country in the world coming out one after another saying, yeah, they consider LGBT now as a form of insanity. And almost all at once. And one collective rally cry. That's very interesting. I
Yeah,
guess that's, yeah. Go ahead, brother.
yeah. Don't you know? In I believe it's not Turkey. I want to say it's Iran. If you found out to be a homosexual, they tie you to a chair and take you up on a roof and throw you off. Yeah, and the people cheer. They down there.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah,
are
man,
cheering
but
these efforts. They're cheering him on. They say, "Well, you need to clean up the, we need to, to this and clean up and do that, and we need to." And then he's about, and we also notice he's using and implementing aggressive draconian military campaigns too globally. This is all happening at the same time. See, it's all at
that's
the same
correct. That's
time.
correct.
It's very
Because
interesting. Go ahead, brother.
I'm sorry, brother.
No,
No,
I'm
I
just
got a
throwing
my
up
bad, brother.
I'm just throwing out pieces just to catch it. Whoever want to keep just keep I'm just keeping it going. That's all. Jump in
Well,
whenever.
no, you was right. You were saying that they're using those draconian military strategies. You know what I'm saying? Because first he went over there. He went over there to Venezuela. He got Maduro up out of there, attacked them, hit them boys with that new technology. They was like, yo, this shit busted our eardrums. They didn't even have to fire a shot. Went up in there, them boys discombobulated. Couldn't think,
Right.
couldn't see, busted eardrums, just went up in there and snatched that man up and his wife and dipped off. You know what I'm saying? Then that's for oil. But it's because Venezuela got a lot of resources over there. They got a lot of I know they got oil. What's the name of that? Not diamonds. It's another valuable resource that's used to something for like computer chips or something like that. Like some type of. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I was trying to ask you what you was talking about. Where Sadiq? Was that Sadiq talking?
No, that was the Israelite brother.
No, it was Omar talking.
Oh, Omar, my bad.
Omar. Oh,
what you talking about, Omar? Over where? Where you talking about it at?
Because I said Venezuela, of course they're rich in oil, but it's another resource that they got, and I think it got to do something with like somehow like making computer chips. It's or man, I forget the name of that other resource that they got, man. But the thing is, they don't have the right. How can I say? They don't have they don't have the right machinery to actually excavate it, because somehow it's like you get this raw material and then you strip it down, and once you strip it down and you sift it, that leftover material is what you need. I forgot the name of that damn material. You know what I'm saying? But and then starting the war, then you got the Epstein joints. They don't want that to come out.
I forgot about that.
He got the distraction going on to distract people from that. You know what I'm saying? It's like multiple different agendas all going on at the same time. A lot of confusion.
Right, discombobulation, right?
Exactly.
That's interesting. He also another thing that's interesting happening as of we'd be on here all day, man, bringing up all this different loose ends. There's a lot to discuss. But there's a lot going on, guys. There's an effort now to defund ICE. There's an effort to defund ICE. They would remember. I recall. I don't know, guys. Is anyone familiar with the defund the police movement a few years ago and how that turned out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so much to say. I'll just say it like this. There's been an over-reporting exemplification on the media about crime occurring nationally. Many would say they're trying to show the black people doing it for the most part. There's more to say about that. Nonetheless, the people were we were being shot and they were showing aggressive police methodology on some whites too, not lethal, but it would just show that there was manhandling the whites as well, giving rise to questionable police tactics. They needed to be checked. And so there was an initiative push to defund the police. That's wickedly brilliant. That's
So
very brilliant.
is that Trump? Is that Trump pushing for that? Because I thought Trump made a post and he threatened to send ICE to replace the whatchamacallit people at the TSA guys at the airport. So he was pushing to send ICE in there to replace them.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hold on one second, y'all. We got Brother King J on the panel, and then we got the Caesar.
Yes, sir.
Peace, guys. Peace,
All right,
fam.
we got the Caesar on the
Peace,
panel. What up, Brother
Shalom,
King
y'all.
J? We're gonna go with King J first, and then we're gonna go to the Caesar. What's up, King J?
What's going on, family?
I'm chilling. How you doing, Brody? You chill? You see anything you want to touch on?
Nah, I jumped on right before we picked the topic. So, politics really not my lane. So I was just hanging around to it, a topic that I felt comfortable, discussing.
Nah, most definitely. I feel you. What's up, Caesar?
Hey, what's going on? I heard somebody earlier when they was talking about everything that's going on in today so far as with the war that's going on, that it was like, it was prophecy. Right. And I just wanted to get the panel's thought on when you in a position of power, right? Mm-hmm. And like when you can and the advantage that we got is we can go back in history. So far as read back, we know what went on back in history.
Right.
Do y'all think that these people are trying to, put prophecy together on their own? Like when they read something, let's do this. We these people. It just looked like that to me.
Mm-hmm. I would
they're
say
they're trying to
right. I would say that for people like the Vatican City, I think that's what they do there. They don't only send out excavations to try to find things, but I think they do be working on plans to try to bring biblical prophecy to real life scenarios. Like I think they do try to do that.
All right. I thought I was
Yeah. I want to comment on that because I had a lot of studies and different things and outlooks to come up with my view. And that's one of the things that I used to always say, not just today, but back in the day, even with Mary and Joseph and Jesus, like they had their own belief system before that came. They knew that there was supposed to be a Messiah. They knew he's supposed to be from a virgin. They knew. So if Mary and all of those people, let's just say that group said, okay, well, Mary's going to be this virgin. Is that still prophecy coming true because you make it happen? Because you have to make it happen. And if you don't want it to happen and you believe in that, then you're going against that word. Just like when we get to Revelations, just like you said, are people trying to make these revelations come true? Well, they must try to make them come true if they believe this thing, because that's what they're set out to do. And the question is this. The question is really this. If you believe that stuff, and you don't want it to happen, are you going against that word? Because that word says that it's gonna happen. So to me, when somebody say a prophecy, and if they said a prophecy out there and say this gonna happen, and then just because it doesn't happen, how you said, like just by nature, naturally happen, and somebody actually makes it happen because somebody gave them a roadmap of what to do, is that still prophecy being fulfilled?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Prophecy is not prophecy in the biblical sense. You see what I'm saying? Because
why isn't it okay? Well, I hear you. My bad, Humble, and I didn't mean to interrupt. I just got excited. But can you explain that to me? Because if somebody leave a roadmap and say this is supposed to happen, and then somebody go make it happen, why isn't that prophecy?
Good question.
I'll give you a perfect example.
Prophecy in a biblical sense, because in a biblical sense, prophecy is something that happens that was foretold spontaneously, right? So it's not something that is tampered with. So if we find any tampering between when it was told to happen and when it did happen, then we know that's not prophetic. Because my
So that excludes Jesus.
But that's what I was about to say. Now listen to me, humble. Listen to what you saying and listen to what I just asked. Cause this
Now
what we
we
got to
going
start.
somewhere
This
now.
this where we got to start thinking logically.
Go ahead.
If somebody leave a roadmap, and let's just say I'm Joseph and I'm married now, when I'm coming up, the Torah or the Tanakh or whatever they was following was already in process. They had this book that they was going by that told them that it was supposed to be a baby born of a virgin woman. So you mean to tell me that all of these?
That's not true.
Not true. Not true. The prophecy, the specific prophecy
Who's coming on?
stated.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so-
My bad.
Well, I want you to tell
I'll
me
go
that
after
because
King
this
James.
what I got.
Sorry about
This
that.
what I got because this what I got to know. Was Mary and Joseph and them, did they have a religious outlook that they was looking for, and was Mary and Joseph and them looking for a Messiah?
No. So
No.
They didn't know. They
Judaism.
didn't know nothing about the Messiah.
1 2 1 2.
Go ahead.
So Judaism differs from Christianity. My argument has always been that Judaism doesn't even say that Jesus is the Messiah. Judaism doesn't even believe that Jesus probably existed. He definitely wasn't a Messiah, nor does he fit the prerequisites to be a Messiah. For one, there wasn't universal peace after he died. There were still many wars afterwards. He didn't bring the exiles back. Right, and he wasn't. If he wasn't from a virgin, he wasn't from the seed of David. So those three things alone exclude him from being a Messiah. According to the Jews, the Messiah, I think what is this, Isaiah 45 or 46:1 will tell you that Cyrus was the Messiah, according to the Lord. So, and that their next Messiah they thought would be a more of a military Messiah, someone who would come and save them from the Romans. Right, that was supposed to happen right then and there. Right, and even if you go back to Emmanuel in the Bible and Isaiah, that ain't talking about no prophetic future Jesus. It's the son was supposed to be born in. So Jesus is nowhere. Jesus to me is a Jesus to me is a Greek invention based off what you just said. Judaism gave them the roadmap, and then they created a Dosiatic Jesus.
And that's what I'm and that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Like Mary and Joseph and them knew about the prophecies of Isaiah. Now, even though we know that Isaiah was talking about a prophecy that was supposed to happen right there, and we know that Isaiah is the one that had the son named Emmanuel and stuff, they tried to move it to the future. What I'm saying is this right here. Besides if Jesus was the Messiah or not, I'm talking about the prophecies that people say are prophecies set forward. Let's just jump past Jesus and jump to the prophecies
They were
that we are
created by
supposed to be.
Christianity and the
That
Greeks.
we
They
are
were created.
understood. Okay. Now, if they say they prophecies or not, I'm saying like if you believe this and somebody gave you a roadmap and say these prophecies are supposed to happen, do you just sit there and let them happen naturally, or do you obviously think that somebody's gonna read that and say, oh yeah, this is what we're supposed to do, and that is what makes the prophecies come true?
That's called pareidolia. I just researched that word the other day, where you're looking at research and reading something into it that doesn't exist. You're reading it into preconceived notions already in your head, right?
No. This ain't a no, bro. You listening to this the wrong way. You trying to find something to argue. I'm not trying to find something to argue. I'm asking you a logical question. If somebody says that, that didn't answer the question. That didn't answer the question.
Yeah, you can go right after. Go ahead, Quantum.
Oh, yeah. No, that didn't answer the question. My question was, if somebody gives me prophecies, or somebody gives a group of people prophecies, and we say this is supposed to happen with our future, right?
Right.
And it's people who are in those things, and they read these prophecies, and then they don't let it happen naturally. They say, oh, this is the prophecy, and this is supposed to happen. And then they go and set about these prophecies that were foretold. Is this still prophecy being fulfilled? That's my question.
No, and I answered. I said it's pareidolia. They're reading into something that already so the prophecy itself is fake. if you can tell me,
we ain't worried about. We ain't even talk about that. See, that's what I'm saying. You jump in. No. You jump into. You got to answer the question. You jump into.
You're asking if
what about the
it is
prophecy?
a
What about the prophecy? What about the prophecies that was true? What about the
I
prophecies
think
okay?
If
What
if
about
the
the
Jermaine, let him
prophecy
land
is
his
hold on,
plane,
if
and,
it's
and
Hold
let's see
on
if
one
he gets it
second.
though.
One
let's
mic.
let's say this. Let's say
Yeah,
this.
let him
Let's
land
just
his
say
plane,
Judaism,
Jermaine.
like you said, Judaism, Judaism. They don't believe Jesus came, yet they still have prophecies for a Messiah, right?
right.
And when these prophecies happen, are they going to happen naturally, or do you think people has read these prophecies and said, you know what, this shit ain't gonna happen naturally? Like we in the place to make this happen, and then they make it happen. And if they do make it happen, is that prophecy being fulfilled?
I think he
They're
gets
not
that
making.
though. I don't think it might have sounded like it, but let him land his plane though this time. Go ahead, King J.
I definitely get it. That's the exact example that I use with the Jews and Judaism and having a tradition of a messianic figure to come. According to the Jews, that they haven't even reached their messianic age yet, right? So that's their perspective. So when you look at Christianity, which built upon that roadmap, I think that those prophecies who the Jews would say already have come or yet to come, I would say according to Christian, they're made up. Just like a lot of the Afrocentric views where they use Deuteronomy 32, where we're supposed to come over here in slave ships and worship them. That's read into it already because already was a prophecy, and now you're trying to read yourself into that prophecy. It's called pareidolia.
Yeah. That's a prophecy that's already been fulfilled. But what about the prophecies that ain't fulfilled? Let's forget the Christians now. Like you said, let's just stick with
But
Judaism.
I answered the
They
question. You're
got
not getting it. That's called pareidolia. You're making it up. That's not. It's called it's fake.
so you think they making a
If
whole
the
Messiah?
prophecies already happened, and we're building on an older tradition, then our tradition is built off of just that
Oh,
previous or
I thought
no,
the Jews don't believe that Jesus came yet.
they don't.
But they have the prophecies that Jesus are supposed to fulfill to be the Messiah, right?
No,
They don't have those prophecies.
no. The Jews Messiah they're waiting on was supposed to be a military Messiah through the line of David, the Davidic line of David. He was supposed to come during that time period. So if a prophecy, if a
Oh, I
prophet
see
makes a
what you're
prophet,
saying now.
hold on. If a prophet makes a prophecy during that time period and it doesn't come to pass, they just look at it as it wasn't the word.
Yeah. I see what you're
Do you
saying
understand
now.
what I'm saying? So
So you saying that whole prophecy fake because it didn't happen when the dude prophesied about it.
no, it doesn't say that they don't say it's fake. They just say they haven't came into that area yet of their messianic age yet.
I know. Okay, see, so that's what I'm saying. So they haven't came into that messianic stage, but they have a stage that they're going to come to that they know what to look for that's supposed to be their Messiah. If they make that happen, is that prophecy being fulfilled?
When you say make that happen, what do you mean make that happen?
Their Messiah, they waiting on something. The Christians say Jesus came. The Jews say, nah, he ain't came because that Jesus or whoever y'all says Jesus didn't fulfill these however many
They're waiting
prophecies
for
it's supposed to.
world peace,
Yeah.
right? A universal peace. So
Uh-huh.
when we see that, we'll know that they're waiting for all of the Jews to be in exile to be returned to Israel,
And they
right?
know what they supposed to be looking for.
They're waiting for the temple to be rebuilt.
Right. Now, who's going to do that? Do you think it's going to happen naturally, or do you think it's people who got plans because they've read that prophecy that say, yeah, we got to make this happen. We got to rebuild this temple.
Has it been rebuilt yet?
When it's being rebuilt, is the people who rebuilding it because the prophecy said, or are they rebuilding it because they want to?
How easy do you think it is to create world peace? Because if you're saying that they're going to make it happen, one of the prerequisites is world peace. So you tell me how they're going to make world peace happen.
Well, I don't know about making world peace happen as much as they say we can build this temple and say that it's world peace themselves, because the world peace would be in the eye of the person who's trying to say it's world peace, who has the power to build that temple.
So
World peace would be
I gotta cut in.
no
I gotta
wars
cut
going
in.
on, and no people,
King
no
J, King J,
bombing, no
you gotta pull the scripture that
bombing.
say world peace. I need you
Universal.
to pull that
Well,
scripture.
it says
We
universal
getting
peace.
off point though.
Pull the scripture. No, I
I
need
think
him to pull
he
the
close to
scripture.
it.
It never mentioned world peace. It said
okay, but listen, hold
Christ
on.
was
It's
coming.
never
He
a
was
problem.
coming back with a sword. He was coming back with a sword, and he gonna make people bow down. And those who don't want to be bowed down, he gonna cut their goddamn head off. That's
Could
what
that
the
person be
prophecy
alive
said.
right now? Could
That's
that
what it
person be
said.
alive right now saying that that's what I got to do? That's my question. And if he do that, is he doing it because the Bible or the prophecy said he gonna do it? And if it is, why he doing it? Is that still prophecy being fulfilled just because somebody read it and made it happen, or does it have to happen and we don't know it's happening? Because people know what's supposed to come.
See, really fast, if I may. I do think, like, if I can give a great example, the Vatican City, right? When you hear about the story about the Vatican City, we know the Vatican City supposedly started from the rock. Here the rock thou I stand. And then from that rock came a great national city of the Romans and the Catholics and these people, right? That's supposed to have been a prophecy. But the fact that these people literally engineered, right, tampered with, made their reality try to fit the same thing y'all talk about, fit that prophecy, is why, for people like me anyway, the Vatican City is so questionable, and I don't trust anything about it because it's not a part of prophecy. It's something that men created and was like, yes, we're gonna control the narrative of history through religion by saying this was prophesied for. So it's like we gotta look at these things, right? So when y'all talking about what y'all talking about, like with quantum saying, okay, well, if somebody is manipulating events in time, right, to abide by what the prophecy is saying, is that actual prophecy being carried out, or is that man messing with whatever? That's man messing with that, because mind you, only God can make prophecy happen. So that means it's out of our control. That means that it's going to happen no matter what we do. This is something that which one was it? I think it's I can't remember his name, but he was talking to the dude and he was like, man, he said, didn't the Bible say it was prophesied for him to die at 33? Talking about Jesus. And the man was like, yeah. He said, so why did he go into hiding in Egypt if it wasn't prophesied that he would die until he was 33?
There's no scripture in the Bible to validate that Hamashiach was going to die at 33. There is no scripture in the Bible that says that. That's false.
There's no scripture in Judaism that even mentions his name.
Let's stay on track, though.
Christianity. You keep talking when I'm talking, brother. Christianity, brother. Nobody speaks when you talk, and then when I respond, you filibuster. I'm answering the question.
Go ahead.
There is no Jesus mentioned in Judaism at all. So when you're mentioning Jesus, you're talking about that addition of that Christianity had built off of that Judaic roadmap. That's the very thing you're talking about. They added to Jesus. That is the addition of them trying to.
Fake. Listen, Judaism is something fake and something created.
Judaism is fake.
Yeah, because nigga.
Wait, hold on. Let me answer your question. Let me hold on, brother, before you go further.
Hold on, one mic.
Yeah, he made a claim, so I'm asking him this. So, how could Judaism be fake if Christianity built upon Judaism? The prophecies from Christianity come from Judaism. So, if you're saying Judaism is fake, then Christianity is fake. You're not making sense.
Yes, they all fake.
Can you mention? Can you pull one scripture where Christ said, "Okay, I want y'all to do Judaism"? No, Christ said. Israel,
brother. Yes, I can. Yes, I can, brother. Yes, brother. What do you think? Hold on, brother.
King J, let him land his plane, King J, and then you.
Thank you.
He's asking the question. I was answering it. So yes, What do you think? What do you think? I don't even think he's a real person, but let's just entertain and say that he was. If he was a real person that spoke Aramaic, what do you think he read from? The Torah?
No, he was a Hebrews from the tribe of Judah.
And what did he read from Judah? So did he read the Torah?
Christ, he did read the Torah.
So what are you talking about? That's Judaism.
There was,
brother, the Torah. So brother,
King
you just
James,
said Judaism was made up.
King James.
So how can he read the Torah?
That's a made up word. Listen, King James.
Brother, we're being hypothetical right here, brother. I don't even think he lived. So you follow the argument. If Jesus lived, brother, and he read the Torah, that's Judaism.
Yes, brother. No, it is not. The Torah is specifically Hebrew and Israelite culture, following them laws, statutes, and commandments. It has nothing to do with Judaism.
Brother, Hebrew isn't a religion. Brother, Hebrew is an ethnicity.
Never said, oh, it's Judaism.
Crazy.
Those fake Jews made up that word. They made that up. There were no Judaism. Israelites wasn't walking around telling people, "Oh, I follow Judaism."
If I may,
really fast, what are we talking about?
So if you follow the scriptures, right, whether we believe he existed or not, if we follow the scriptures, he would have been an Israelite by blood, but he would not have been a typical, what we would call a typical Jew during that time by belief. And we know this because he was well traveled and he was well studied. So when he came back, we can see how he incorporated the studies that he gathered abroad into what he was teaching his people at the time. So we can tell by that he was not strictly a Israelite by faith. He was one by blood because of who his parents were, but he wasn't one by faith.
Can I say something real quick?
So you're saying that Jesus didn't read different?
That's crazy.
Can I say something real quick? Can I finish real? Can I say something real quick, man? Because I see, I can already tell this ain't going where I was going. Humble, I understand what you were saying. Right before you said this last remark about, it has to be by God and stuff. That being said, I still believe that it's people gonna be reading that before God makes it happen, and those people are the ones who are gonna be making it happen. And I just want to land right there before we end up in Kemet, because I heard you talking about traveling, so I know where we're going.
No, we stand right here with the fallacies that you just presented.
I got another question at the panel whenever y'all get through discussing this too.
I just wanted 20 seconds real quick. 20 seconds. 20
Go
seconds.
ahead, Omar.
So when you said he was going, learning all these other different things, the law, statutes, and commandments was only gave to the children of Israel. When Christ was in the Greek territory, in the Apocrypha, it quotes, Christ made haste to get back to Israel to make the Passover. Hold on. Did the Africans have Passover? No. Did the Greeks have Passover? No. So why would Christ leave a Greek state to travel back? And they said he only had a certain amount of days. He didn't want to be late, so he made haste. The nigga went back. He went back to the motherland, so he made the Passover. Passover is particular only to the Israelites, so that's a cut right there. Christ didn't go off into no other studies. Christ kept the law, all the statutes and the commandments. Christ fulfilled what he was supposed to do. He fulfilled what he was supposed to do.
I agree with that with you on that point.
Christ didn't go down into Egypt.
Thank you. I just wanted to make that point. Go ahead.
Now you moving the goal points because Christ going to Egypt. Hold on. Christ hold on. Let me land my plane. Christ going into Egypt doesn't mean he has a new doctrine. He went into Egypt for refuge, brother. That has any. So hold on, Humble. You gotta let me finish. Also, I agree with Omar in this point. I agree with Omar in this point, actually. But with the brother that was speaking before, that said Jesus didn't wasn't Judaism, is crazy. So I was gonna ask him what would he call when he went into the synagogue and actually read from the actual Isaiah scroll. It's actually Luke 4:16-21. But to suggest that Jesus read from or promoted a different doctrine is kind of crazy.
He most
I
definitely
never
promoted
heard that.
doctrine.
Now there's a period
Doctrine
of
that
time.
he promoted.
There's a period of time where Jesus disappears in the Bible. I believe from like the ages of 6 to
Yeah,
13.
yeah.
And those outside texts claim he travels to India and comes back and things are like that. But that doesn't claim that he's taught a different message and brings that message back to the Israelites. And that's not what it says. It actually says he didn't come to change the law, but fulfill the law. So if he's not changing the law, what law is he not changing to humble?
You said what law is he not changing? He's
Yeah,
not.
the law of the Jews.
Right, but you're speaking about, okay, so you're speaking about Israelites when he was making a difference between the codes and conduct of Israelite culture and the faith of a person being called an Israelite during that time.
Well, back then, got to remember,
if that's how you want to classify it.
That's not how I want to classify it, because you got to remember, this is a Hellenized time period. These are Hellenized Jews.
Yeah.
Now, so quit saying, you don't even got to use that word Israelite at all.
I
They're
mean,
Hellenized Jews, and they're hold on. They're Jews in particular.
Okay.
These are Yehudi.
Okay,
these are historical. That's a historical word. These are historical people, and it's a historical geographical location. Yehuda.
Okay, so Yehuda. So he was separating the.
He was a Nazareth.
Hold on. He was separating the people who was Yehuda by blood and by custom.
He wasn't separating anybody.
Hold on one second. And the ones that was by faith. And he was letting them know that, hey, I'm not here to change what y'all are doing. I'm not here to beat down what y'all are doing. I'm here to introduce a new method into what y'all are doing. That was his whole beef. That's why why the Hebrews don't deal with Paul, because they understood that Paul was teaching against what the early church fathers or the Hebrew Israelites or the Yahuda, as we want to call them in this case, stood for. Because he was telling them, hey, y'all taking these stories a little too literal. Hey, y'all don't really understand the true context of these stories, and y'all are misleading the people. This is what Paul was telling his people. Like, hey, man, these people they say that they are the true children of God and that, but they're teaching something totally different. This is the real teaching. And so, like, when you say things like, okay, well, there wasn't no difference and things like that's just wrong, my guy.
Well, what you just based upon what you just said, Jesus' mission was for them. The kingdom is near, repent and believe. But in regards to what you're talking about in Jesus and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, Jesus is letting them know, as far as what you're saying is in regards to the hand washing and eating with the unclean of hands and things of that nature. He's letting them know, hey, that's not what the Torah says. These are traditions and rituals of man that these Pharisees have added. So that's what Jesus was saying. He wasn't adding different commandments or laws. He was telling them that the Torah was the only way, and that the Torah doesn't say what these extra rabbis are actually.
So time out. Did Jesus say the Torah is the way, the truth, and the light, or did he say I am the way, the truth, and the light?
He says the Torah. He tells you to do. He tells them to do what the rabbis say. He said, "Those who sit in the seat of Moses do as they say." He said, "Albeit they sit in the seat of Moses, still do what they say."
Hey, King J, this right here is for Humble. So Humble, this is Matthew. Let's go Matthew 17. It's a red letter. This is strictly out of Christ's mouth. Because you said something about him going somewhere and teaching something new. So this is specific. Matthew 17. Here you go, red letter. This is out of Jesus' mouth, Humble. Think not that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but fulfill. Hold on, let's drop down to 18. For verily, I say unto thee, till heaven and earth pass, no jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till it all be fulfilled. Drop down to 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach man so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever so shall do and teach them shall be called the great in the kingdom of heaven. That's a cut. He didn't come. So like you said, you got to stay corrected on that point, Humble. I'm gonna mute out.
Hold on. Okay, you gonna mute out. Listen. So he don't understand that Jesus taught two different messages, right? He taught a message to abroad to the people, and he taught a secret message to his insiders. Watch this, Matthew 13 and 10 to 11. To you, and Matthew, he should have known this before he came off mute. To you, it has been given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given, which means he taught these people something different than he's teaching the people abroad. Of course, he's going to stick to the script when he's teaching the people abroad, but when he's teaching his people, he's teaching them the mysteries that he picked up. Let's get into it, right? Mark 4:11 and 12, right? When Jesus taught the parables on purpose to hide meaning. To you has been given mysteries of the kingdom of God, but to those outside, everything is in parable, which means when he was teaching the people, he was teaching them in parable. But when he was teaching his disciples and Mary, right, he was teaching them in clear cut. He was giving them the information he was meaning to give them. He understood that when he was giving a message to the children of Israel, he had to give it a certain way because they was indoctrinated. But he could give his message fully to the people who was closest to him because they trusted him.
False.
No, but that could be true, but it doesn't mean that hold on, it could be true, but it's not giving him a different message. Esoteric and exoteric.
Mark 4:34 going to confirm. I'm gonna land my plane with this. Mark 4:34 is going to confirm.
And I just need 10 seconds.
Jesus had private teachers not recorded publicly. Mark 4:34. He did not speak to them without a parable, but privately to his own disciples he explained everything, which he lets you know in a verse I just quoted, right? It lets you know that he speak to the people abroad in parable. In this verse, it lets you know that he speak to his disciples plainly, explaining everything, not in parables.
It's crazy. I just need 20 seconds.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you what, because that was some of the most craziest stuff I ever heard. I was muted. I was laughing. One of the reasons multiple different reasons. One of the reasons why Christ spoke in parables when he went out to teach, specifically in Greek and Roman controlled areas. Don't you know, speaking in a Hebrew tongue will get you put to death? It was against the law. It was punishable by death. So that's when Christ went out to the masses, he had to speak in parables. Because if you use the Hebrew tongue and you talk about the law, statutes, and commandments, it was against the Roman and Greek law. It was punishable by death. That's why when he was in private with the disciples talking, he didn't really have to talk in parables like that.
Can I ask you a question?
No. Look it up. Was it illegal to talk in the Greek tongue? And if you did talk and you preach salvation, what was your sentence? It was death. That's a fact.
I'm about to ask because, bro, where was? Hold on, real fast. Who translated or who wrote down the Septuagint? And where was it written down?
First, I need you to address was speaking in the Hebrew tongue and telling Israelites to still keep the law, statutes, and commandments out in public. What was that punishable? What was the sentence? if the Roman centurion or the Roman police officers caught you doing that.
Humble probably should concede this point, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying?
He
Because
has to
he's
concede that point.
suggesting something kind of a little
Let's
crazy. I ain't never heard it
let's
before.
move forward. He has to
So
concede.
now let's read.
forward.
No. Hold on one second.
No.
Let's read. So no, it was not illegal to speak Hebrew during Jesus' time. There was no Roman law, no Jewish law, and no historical source that says Hebrew was banned in the first century Judea. Speaking Hebrew was completely legal.
I didn't
What
say
languages
Judea.
were
I
actually used
said in
Jesus' time?
Roman provinces.
This is Roman. There was no Roman law.
King J.
So
I
now,
know King
hold on
J.
one
I know we disagree.
What
King J.
languages
But
now
King
you-
J will he will agree. Yo, oh my King J.
Come on now, man.
Go ahead, King J.
What up? What's
You
the
have to
question?
concede
They
this
can
point. It
speak
was illegal.
Aramaic, but
I
they
don't
couldn't
agree with
speak
Humble on this point at all. It's kind of
Thank
wild.
you. It was illegal. That's why he
They
had to
could
talk in
speak
prophecies
Aramaic,
when he
but
went
they
out.
couldn't speak Hebrew?
And then that's why they said in secrecy, the way he talked to the disciples was different. Because you in secret
Oh
talking.
my goodness.
So now you can speak
Hold on one
freely.
second.
You can speak freely.
So in
you
Luke,
trying, Humble, you trying to make this Bible like it's all mystic and like
He's trying to, even the Gnostic,
it's simple. It's simple.
y'all
It's
don't
simple.
know how to spin
You
this
couldn't
narrative,
talk in the
man.
Greek tongue. You couldn't hold on. You couldn't
clearly
talk.
y'all
Omar,
don't
you got to
read
remember
talk
his
in the
name is
Hebrew
Humble
tongue.
Mystic.
Listen, y'all don't read this
talk.
Bible.
And
That's
if you
what it
got
is.
caught
Hold on
talking,
one
you got
second.
put to death.
Hold on one second. Y'all don't read this Bible. Hold on one second. Let me show you how I know y'all don't read this Bible. Jesus himself reads publicly in Hebrew in Luke 4:16-21.
I just gave you
He
that
read
scripture.
above the crowd. So why didn't he get executed for that? If speaking in Hebrew was illegal, why was he able to speak amongst the crowd in Hebrew in Luke
Because
4?
Hebrew you made that up. He
That's
spoke in
why.
He spoke
So
in
y'all
Aramaic.
don't
Hold
made it
on,
up.
Omar. Hold on, Omar. Because he spoke in Aramaic, brother. It wasn't Hebrew.
Oh, he
It was
spoke in
Aramaic.
Aramaic. Hey, bro.
Yes, brother.
Out of here, King
Humble. You got to remember during this time period, most people didn't even know how to speak Hebrew. That's why it's called a Hellenized time. It's called a Hellenized time period because
Correct, King
they've
J.
lost
Correct.
their
King J is right.
like. I'm just saying, Humble. Like sometimes, like just concede this argument, brother.
Nah.
Humble, like,
They terrible. Watch this.
Watch
this. Hold on, Sadiq. Watch this.
Go ahead, brother.
So Luke 4:16. Hold on, real fast. This is why I don't concede. Y'all gotta learn how to stand on y'all squares, man. Luke 4:16-21. What actually happens? Jesus entered the synagogue of Nazareth, right? He stands up to read. He is handed a scroll of Isaiah, which is written in Hebrew. He reads the passage, right? He walks the mount. So listen, man. So this is why you don't concede, bro. Because right here, even in the passage, is letting you know he's reading it aloud. Like, how do y'all come back and say, oh, well, he wasn't even reading Hebrew, he was reading Aramaic.
I didn't say he was reading
Aramaic.
Aramaic. I didn't say that. King J said that, but this is what I want you to do. You didn't even know. You jammed yourself up. Hold on. Where was he reading that? Go back, read that again. Read it again, Humble.
Where was he reading that? He was reading at a
synagogue.
Exactly.
This boy, you jammed your own. This nigga was reading in a freaking synagogue.
Y'all
Humble.
don't understand. Hold on one second.
The people in the synagogue would not understand Hebrew, Humble. You got to understand the point being made.
So you don't understand the difference between a synagogue back then and a synagogue. Y'all don't know that synagogues were open back then. Y'all don't know a synagogue back then looked different than one do now.
Not true.
So
That is
second.
not true.
So when he walked
Do you know what a
Hold
targum is?
on one second. What's a synagogue back then in Hellenistic? A public space for reading and praying. But wait a minute, I thought you couldn't speak Hebrew during this time. So why do they got public spaces that they can read and pray in Hebrew?
There was no synagogue in hell.
You made that up.
So y'all saying the Bible line? See, I told y'all, they don't even. No, they're not even biblical believers.
Humble
They say
is
the Bible is lying, bro.
I like your fight. I like your fight, Humble, but you're wrong. because in Roman and Greek controlled territory, you couldn't even build a synagogue. Oh my! This is crazy work.
Yeah, I don't think he understands the time period that
You
he's
don't
in.
understand that. Thank you. Go ahead, King J. My bad, brother.
I'm just saying we're in a Hellenized time period, and the people in the synagogue would not understand Hebrew. It was Aramaic. They may have had a interpreter for when they were speaking Aramaic to interpret it into the Greek. That's probably what happened most times because most of the people spoke Greek. So when Jesus is coming reading that script, they probably had a translator. But I'm telling you that he's reading it in Aramaic, brother. Hebrew was a dead language during this time period, brother. After 6th century, we don't have Hebrew.
Hey, Sadiq, can you look up right now? Did Jesus read Hebrew publicly in the Bible?
Brother, he weaponizing the word.
Let me see.
Ezra didn't even bring Hebrew. When Ezra comes back from Babylon,
maybe you can find it.
they're not reading Hebrew anymore.
It says here, I don't know about the source, but it says yes, Jesus read and spoke Hebrew, which was a language of the Jewish scriptures, the Hebrew and Bible and Old Testament, and religious life in general in the first century in Galilee.
Now type in this. Type in, did Jesus speak Aramaic?
Did Jesus speak Aramaic?
Yeah, he spoke Aramaic. Jesus spoke.
Hold on.
Yeah, I would say
let's see what it said.
Do you know why he had to speak Aramaic?
Speak Aramaic.
Humble. Do you know why he had to speak Aramaic?
Because that was the language.
No. It was against the law to speak in a Hebrew tongue. That's why.
No, it was not.
It says yes, Jesus primarily spoke Aramaic, a Semitic language commonly used in the first century in Judea and Galilee.
Thank you. Not because. Hold on one second. Not
it was
because
against
it
the
was.
law.
So he spoke Aramaic, not Hebrew. Okay.
So he didn't speak Aramaic. Yo, Sadiq just said it. He didn't speak Aramaic because Hebrew was banned. He spoke Aramaic because Aramaic was the most prominent language in the first century AD.
Okay, so we established he spoke Aramaic, not Hebrew.
Yeah, it does.
But he spoke Hebrew as well.
So
no, we don't. We can't support that claim.
Yeah, in terms of Aramaic, it goes on to say as the everyday language, actually, as a heart language of the region. It was used in daily life, in the marketplaces, and so forth, and for teaching and things.
Now, Sadiq,
and outside of that, Humble, you're not even listening to Humble. You're arguing because listen, outside of that, they would have only option they would have had would have been the Koine Greek.
Okay, now Sadiq, can you go back to where you said that Jesus spoke Hebrew as well and read Hebrew in the Bible?
Yeah, it says, yes, Jesus did speak and read Hebrew, which was the language of the Jewish scriptures, meaning the Hebrew or Bible and the Old Testament, and religious life in the first century in Judea and Galilee. It is depicted reading from the Hebrew scroll of Isaiah in the synagogue of Nazareth and extensively quoted the Hebrew scriptures, and it goes on and on.
I'm undefeated in this land.
He's quoted the Hebrew scriptures in Aramaic.
Hold on.
You can read them in Greek. You can read them in Aramaic. Yeah. So that's confusing the people with Hebrew.
Another thing, Humble don't understand is, what did that say? Wait, hold on, because you said he read it in like some open market space. He didn't. He read it in a synagogue.
That's an open. Hey, Sadiq,
you can't say that, brother.
Can you now look
synagogue?
Can you now look up if a synagogue was a public place in biblical times?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, we got Brother Kazad on the panel. What it do, Brother Kazad?
What's up, brother?
Shalom, Kazad. My brother on the panel now. My brother on the panel.
What's going on?
Y'all gonna need him. Y'all gonna need him.
What's going on? Shalom, Omar. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, shalom. Yeah, I'm up here trying to tell Humble that in a Hellenized period, it was illegal in Roman and Greek territory to speak in the Hebrew tongue. So the thing about it, he read Hebrew in synagogues, and this
I got
nigga
this
just
for you
tried to
too, humble.
say
For
this.
sure.
This nigga said a synagogue was an open space, like it was just some open space.
I did
That's
look that
not
up, humble. I did check that out.
All right, we go as soon as Kazaa get in here, Sadiq, we gonna get what you got.
Okay.
Go ahead,
I'm gonna mute
Kazaa.
out. I'm gonna mute out and let y'all brothers cook. So Kasai, so you know the other brothers can
Omar,
speak.
before you mute out, brother Omar, keep that fire, bro. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Keep that fire, brother Omar.
I'm gonna come back in and talk once the rest of the brothers get their chance, man. You know, but yeah.
Khan, I didn't want to get up here and be up here too long. I just heard a couple things that just wasn't correct. As far as Hebrew still being spoken during like the 1st century AD, Hebrew is still spoken as a language after the fall of Jerusalem. Even during the what's called the Simon Bar Kokhba revolts, they have Hebrew writing. They have the letters from that time frame. You know that they're writing. I can't think of what it, the term for it linguistically, but it's what we do when we combine two words to create a new word. Like isn't, right? Isn't an actual word. That's a combination of two different words.
Oh yeah, a
Is
contraction.
and not.
Yeah, contraction.
So I can't think of the actual scholastic term, but you only
Compound
have
word.
that.
A compound word.
No, it's not a compound
I
word.
think
That's
it's
not what it's called.
contraction, I believe.
It's not called a compound word. I can't think. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna grab my scholar and I'm gonna pull it up. But we actually have that in the Simon Bar Kokhba revolt in the letters. You only have that in living languages that's being spoken. So we know for, and then also on top of that, we have coins during the Roman period that's printed in Hebrew. So it ain't a question on if they spoke Hebrew. And when you get actually into the quotation of Jesus, if you look at the not the Luke, if you look at the Mark rendering and the Matthew rendering, they're pronounced slightly different because the Mark rendering is Aramaic. The Matthew rendering is Hebrew. Look at the two different pronunciation of the words. God is pronounced different in those two different verses, right? So there is a distinction between him speaking Hebrew and him speaking Aramaic. Closely related languages, but not pronounced the exact same way. And the last thing that I kind of wanted to get into, what you're referring to, Omar Muhammad, and is when it's illegal for them to refer to as being Jews and stuff. That's slightly before Rome get in there. That's during the Greek time period. So you're not incorrect in saying that was a thing, but that's prior to Rome getting there. That's you getting in towards the Maccabean revolt and stuff. That's prior to Rome.
Right.
That's Greek. That's
Right.
Greek.
No. So just to be exact, I wasn't sure. So if you notice, I was saying Greek/Roman because you know I did. But no, go ahead, Kasai. You're right, brother. You're right. But I did say Greek/Roman.
That's all I wanted to add. The Hebrew wasn't dead in 600 BCE. No, it was still spoken. What's the difference is a lot of people begin to adapt the square Aramaic script to begin to write the Hebrew language. Hebrew is still around. And if you go into, like I said, the Roman coins, they actually revert back to using the Paleo Hebrew. And the Dead Sea Scrolls also is written partially in Paleo Hebrew in certain texts. So the fact that you're saying that Hebrew is gone is ridiculous. But that's all I wanted to add.
Most definitely. We appreciate you, brother Kazad. We
Good
appreciate
point,
you,
Kasai. Good
For
point.
sure, brother. Thanks, Kazal.
And hold on, I gotta put something up here by brother Cuzman, bro. Cause look, you see me up here, brother Cuzman, like damn, y'all got me agreeing with Kazad. That's my guy. Don't bless him. I'm brother Kazad be having that info, bro. Go ahead, Sadiq is on you, bro, to give us what you got.
Oh yeah, when you wanted me to kind of see, go look up the what's the synagogue public place during biblical times. It says He said, yes, synagogues in the biblical period, specifically Second Temple and / New Testament era of 1st century CE, It functioned as a central public building, acting as community centers for worship, education, local governance, and travel hospitality. They served as quote unquote town halls or municipal gathering places, separate from the temple's sacrificial system.
That's the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on, humble. I think you getting
It
a
wasn't some open
congregation.
platform.
I think you getting a congregation and the synagogue confused, because a synagogue can be an enclosed building. If you look it up, they do have like actual building synagogues where it's closed in. The inside is open for everyone to stand in and talk. It's a public meeting spot, but it is a building. Now, when you get into like churches and stuff, that's just referring to people gathering. That has nothing to do with the actual building. That's the last point I wanted to get into. I forgot that part.
But it was public, man.
Thank you, brother
All
Kassan, for
right.
validating that point. Thank you, brother.
Ooh, the family going in. Yes, sir, Bob. They going in.
What I love right here, man. When we get the information out kicking like this, definitely the brothers that know that information. That's what we need right here.
Man.
Khan, that's all I wanted to add, man.
And
Appreciate
here's
y'all.
the thing for me, and if I may, my bad, because bro, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, so sometimes we gotta stand genuine. Just as fast as we stand on our own, we gotta stand genuine with the information. So I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, so that I can't come and tell Kazad, you see what I'm saying, what's the difference between a first century temple and a third century temple. You see what I'm saying? I will concede to the information if he had that information. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm sure there's differences there. But that's what it's about when we come with the brothers who actually have the information and do their studies on this type of information. Man, I'm most definitely big up at brothers, man.
Good stuff.
Khan, I appreciate y'all letting me on. That's all I really wanted to add, man, to clear up. I'll be watching in the chat. I'm just drop down. I might pop back up if needed.
Okay, most definitely. We appreciate you, my guy.
For sure, brother. Thanks.
Shalom, Kassan.
That was interesting what Quantum was saying earlier, that if saying can the system create false synchronicity, this key chain of events that would help, I would just say, and that would coincide with the prophecy. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Because we see it, I mean, listen, man. They say Nostradamus was a great prophet, man. And I guess we waiting around to see about World War III. It hasn't happened yet, but I guess we could say. Now, that's a great thing, right? If World War III happens, right?
Right.
Can we consider that a Nostradamus prophecy? Or was that an event that was just bound to happen in human history, because we know as a human species, we're a species of war. So was that an event that was bound to happen, or did Nostradamus predict World War III?
I'm not sure of the timeline. I think Nostradamus did. I don't want to quote say because I'm not sure exactly his timeline. But I do believe he did predict an apocalyptic Armageddon / world event that would occur. But I'm not sure on the timeline. And just on a separate note, I think most would agree that World War III would occur in the quote unquote end times. I think a lot of religious guys would call this the end times. There's so much to say. I know I would say this much. We're going back to my Christian days. The pastor used to say this. He would always say that the so-called Antichrist would precede the so-called Christ. It would come first. We're definitely seeing a lot of Antichrist-like, phenomena with the war machine that's like acting up like it is with the pandemic. We know with some other things we can go into in the chaos across the globe, and we got the onset of the AI and now questioning the authenticity of news reports and true war, if true wars will really happen, or is it just rumors of war? Because we can't really verify the news reports. So it's like a rumor innuendo. A lot of things that's taking a innuendo innuendo-esque kind of a flair, because
Yeah.
the fake news. Yeah, so it's kind of, we're getting a lot of rumors, and that's also been prophesied to occur. If you're them in their position and you see the writing on the wall and your way of life is under attack from all ways you can imagine, even your population is depleting physically.
I got
What would you do? What would you do? Would you sit by and let it happen, and say these guys, the world's governments are watching the stars and the heavenly bodies move, as according to some of these religious texts would indicate of their time and also in the future tense? Would you get involved and begin to put things into motion to so-called offset the so-called prophecy and interfere with artificial synchronicity at the same time? I would probably say yes. I would say both. I wouldn't say absolutely one or the other. I think they're trying to get ahead of this thing. I think that's where all of this confusion. I think they realize they can't stop it. But I think they say we're going to try to direct it and try to reset the world ahead of time. There's a lot of things you can kind of get into, given what we're seeing here with the reset that occurred in 2020. They're trying to, the Antichrist is trying to get ahead of this thing, to try to create a new world order before the new world order, if you will. I'll just stop there.
Most definitely. And I got a question for you, Brother Sadiq.
What's that?
There are scientists, since the late, 1800s, who've been making scientific estimations, as they like to call them. They don't really like to call them predictions. They call them scientific estimations. And a lot of them have come in true. And, some people now, people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who've also made scientific estimations. Would you consider these prophecies, so to speak, or would you say that these are things based off of these are people who observe civilization, and based off the pattern of civilization, they was able to estimate the probability of where civilization would end up?
What would be some of their predictions? I wonder. I would have to ask. I'm not sure, so I can see if it's matching current trends.
Dang, I remember it was somebody. I can't remember their name. Somebody predicted that we would be using cell phones. When we in the I think it was like 10 years after the landline came out. A scientist was like, hey, there was going to be a year where we figure out how to make this mobile. You see what I'm saying? And he wasn't speaking as if like, oh, this is an epiphany, like something came to me. He was speaking in a sense of one day we will have the technology to enhance what we've already enhanced. We just don't have that technology yet. You see what I'm saying? So he's speaking from a place of understanding that science will evolve to a point that it will make things in their present reality enhanced or better, so to speak.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, given the trend, I would say that. So I would say that's been quite a few predictions in that regard. We're just beginning to see it truly unfold. And there's a haste. They're pushing it with a haste because the time is, as they say, quote unquote, the time is near. The time is short. They're talking. I never thought I'd hear these guys talking about the coming of Christ openly in the news from the presidential level on down. That's wild as hell, dude. That's wild, man.
What's interesting about that is we have. Hold on 1 second. My goddaughter in the back. She's crying.
Go ahead, bro.
Real quick, Sadiq. I would say it's more of an educated guess based upon the behaviors of man, like a pattern.
Right.
A pattern.
Yeah, definitely. Facts. Go ahead. Yeah, facts. Yeah. They're right.
Yeah, my bad. And then real quick about the Nostradamus predictions. This is a note. Nostradamus predictions are notoriously vague and are generally interpreted after events occur, making them highly debated in terms of accuracy.
Okay.
So I just wanted to drop that too.
For sure.
Right. It when we dealing with like prophetic things, I think a lot of it has to do with observation. I don't think that even the people that they were claiming prophets, they were just great at observation. You see what I'm saying? They was just great at people. You know, I watched this anime called Full Metal Alchemist, and it gives a great breakdown of how easy people of the unknown are easily to manipulate by people in the known,
Right.
right? So that's how this thing is, man. Like people in the unknown are so easily manipulated, and so it's easy for somebody to make a calculative prediction, and then once that happens, actually we see this in history, right? With what's that dude name? The dude that came to America, what's his name? Christopher Columbus, right? He came across a tribe of people, right? And they only stored food, you know, for themselves and the people. They really didn't make more for, you know, outsiders and stuff. And he needed more food. And they was like, we can't spare any. Because he knew about eclipses and because he knew about solar eclipses, he gave these people an ultimatum they had no clue about. He said, hey, if you don't give us any food, then my God, which is more powerful than your God, is going to turn the moon red. And once the day the moon turned red, they believed that his God was more powerful. They gave him all the food. Now, was that prophecy? No, he knew an eclipse was happening.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying? So, like, we gotta, when we talk about these prophecies, it's easy to call something a prophecy when you're not in the knowing of how people can create prophecies.
True. That's true too as well. You always have this, you know, you're always going to have a synthetic component. And speaking of that, the so-called Antichrist, when it's expected to rise, would create global turmoil and wars, and they call it tribulation. This is according to the Christian timeline.
Right.
And some of that stuff, I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I can't write off everything they say, like this barcode thing and all of this coming up, and the issues with buying and selling. Man. I mean, there's some things. So this Antichrist is going to create a lot of drama, pretty much,
Right.
ahead of the so-called arrival of the so-called Christ. Not Jesus per se. Jesus never said in the books he was really going to come back. He said the Christ would return. Jesus never said directly he was coming back personally. He said the Christ would return. And this comforter that would come would talk about Christ, not Jesus. He said he won't talk about me. He talk about the Christ. So it's a different, that's another story, but it's a different person. It's a different people.
We
And all
got
this other.
Nola Drew, real fast, Dick.
What's that?
Right back in there. We got Nola Drew donation for $1.99. It's are prophecies useful outside of religion? We appreciate you, sister. I'm gonna go ahead and let the panel answer this. I'm gonna go first. No. Prophecies are not useful outside of religion. I'm gonna just keep it short and sweet like that. Go ahead, brother Sadiq.
Weather patterns. I'm hitting it from multiple different from my church days, where to kind of touch some of the things they would predict that the weather patterns in the quote unquote end times, where we would see wildcat weather patterns, which we are seeing actually. And so, how I would look at that, there's a change underway, right? In my opinion, there's a system ending and there's a system beginning. And so, and they're occurring. Now they're not going. It's not going to be an absolute one end and absolute another. It's going to be overlapping concurrently. Wow. And so we'll see almost a repeating of the quote unquote metaphorical flood, utter total chaos, as we head into a new, quote, new world order or whatever. Now, the so-called prophetic new world order will be a Christ-like new world order. The Antichrist also has its own new world order it wants to incorporate. We can look at this as AI, right, and among other things. As they're going to try to get the AI thing off before the Christ or the religious guys would say the world order from the Christ, or the Muslims would say before the Great Mahdi, or the Jew would say they're all waiting for these different guys, right? Right. So before these guys supposed to come, they all agree that the bad guy is the same, right? They have different good guys, but the bad guy is he's always the same, right? And so this bad guy, he gets it off before their good guy, respective good guys come. And so sometimes they'll believe in each other's good guy, but at any rate, this bad guy is panicking to
Most
get his
definitely.
system off. So back to the weather. So with all this going on, there's a total utter chaos and death and destruction. Mental illness is at all time high. Drug use is all time high. Suicide at all time high. Blah 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 blah. Panic and a lot of issues are all at all time high. Utter spiritual warfare. Some texts call Armageddon will come after apocalypse. But that
Right.
being said, this is going to give rise in part to chaotic weather systems. What am I talking about here? As I understand it from the universal law plays a role into this. I know as in within, so without, and as above, so below. I'm gonna go with this as within, so without. If the mind and mental illness is through the roof due to this resetting, that would be one of the symptoms of a dying campaign, a dying empire, by any measure. And so it's going to show and reflect on the outside. See, do you think living backwards in some of these lifestyles and things that we're doing now with artificial food and artificial everything wouldn't have a play on the external reality? The answer, I would say, oh, don't say absolutely it won't, because it would. And what's going on outside of us in this regard to chaotic weather patterns, which is reverse. A lot of the periodic weather patterns are considered reverse and inverted, given the mentality we're dealing with nowadays. A lot of people would say it's a lot of backwards-ish going on. This is at any rate, that would that external reality reflect on what's going on in the minds of these people? See, in my circles, we look at the mind as the actual God, so to speak, the quote unquote God or source. And so I would say yes. The mentality of the people will be reflected in the heavens above as well as without here right in front of us in the clear and present reality. See, this is all gives. I say all this to give rise to the chaos that's going on. And it's not just the weather patterns, it's backwards just because it's all this stuff means stuff. and so you'll see a lot of all this inversion and going on and things like that. And some would say that was also prophesized too. See, and so on and so forth. They would occur around this time, give or take the year. I won't say a year or whatever, but I say it's pretty much happening now. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? What's going on with these weather patterns. And so that's to show there's a new beginning to go on there. Now, in the Kabbalah system, in the mystical Jewish system, we know there's a phenomena called the Da'at, or Da'ath, which indicates a chaos that would ensue naturally between any two realities, any two normals, like into a woman's period. There's a reality before she comes onto the period, which creates the bloody waters and the blood moon quarter, which is feminine energy or whatever, and esoterically speaking, and given her mentality is utterly turned upside down because there's a new reality coming just shortly after the 28 days, just a few days of total chaos. Right now, the waters are turning blood red, quote unquote. We're having a blood moon, quote unquote, right, guys? And so we're dependent. The earth is in a total ministration right now, which is a cleansing. This is what the period does partly in the woman's body. Won't go too far ahead of myself with all this stuff. And so it'll settle, quote, she settles, right? She settles, but she goes through utter hell in between time and in the meantime. See? So I think all these things, there's many things to talk about. We can wrap scripture around a lot of this stuff and go into it in the occult. I'm a child of the occult. And so in the occult worlds, we look and read scripture, look at some of that too, where have you, but we also tie our minds into how the human reality plays and actively a role in some of these things that we see and bear witness to at the end of the day.
That was a good note. That was a good note. I want a sidebar right quick. Indigenous black man, you should hop up in here. I like that. He says CERN is trying to open up portals to bring Satan to earth. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say to bring Satan to earth. So at CERN, they use something called a Hadron Collider. So a Hadron Collider is so many miles long, and what that Hadron Collider does, it bounces off. It's a particle accelerator. So it pushes particles which separate from protons, shoots it at the speed of light. And when you do that, crazy things start to happen.
Right.
So I was reading a science report. This was maybe some years ago. CERN accomplished it, but it takes so much energy to do that. They can only do it so many years. So it said that for like maybe a split second, it opened up some kind of black hole or portal, but it wasn't enough energy to keep it open. But yeah, they doing some crazy things down there at CERN. Yeah, it's called a Hadron Collider. It's a particle accelerator.
Yeah, they've come out and said
I
as
like
such.
subjects like that. So
Oh, yeah.
shout out to indigenous people. But go ahead.
Shout out, brothers. Yeah, good point. Yeah, they've come out and admitted such. If I'm not mistaken, I have to look at the double check the news reports. I believe they come out and they've shown some of those who've seen the ceremonies held at the Collider. Some are liking that to occult ritualism, dark occult rather, because it's not all occult, it's not all the same. You got dark and light and anything. And so you can use whatever belief and for whatever purpose, depending on your intent, to elicit a certain ends. At any rate, I've seen some of the CERN ceremonies and rituals. It looks nothing short of what ones would call satanic, given the appearance and the lore and the outfits and so forth. And the timing in which they had these rituals at CERN. Usually it was around in January or so, tying into I think Nordic and Dark Lords and all this other stuff we can get into. Janus or something like that.
CERN is somewhere like in a Swiss or something like that.
Right.
Forgot. It's somewhere over there. So I knew they do like crazy rituals. But yeah,
Right.
the Hadron Collider, man. That's some stuff that I wouldn't want to fool with, man. Because here's the thing here, man. Look, you ask for the bull, you get the horns. You fuck
Right.
around and open something you might regret later.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. Facts. Now we dealing with the nature, everything in nature that has a certain form, it would dictate
There you go,
function,
indigenous black man. You're right. It's
and
indigenous black
vice
man was right.
versa.
It's a 14 mile
Facts.
tunnel. I'm sorry. Go ahead though.
You're right. And so I believe it's at 14 to 17 mile or so. And so they given the nature of these guys, we have to look at the kind of intent behind said creations, Frankenstein creations. And so we can take note of what the nature of the mentality of these scientists, right, as needing to tear things apart to study it. They can't study it from an intrinsic, holistic standpoint with everything intact to learn the nature of the point being studied. They have to dissect everything. This will be a common approach across the whole field of scientific endeavor. Atomic
engineering.
structure. Yeah,
Reverse
well,
engineering.
right. Well,
Is one of them.
tear it to pieces. Tear it to pieces. They don't want to learn its holistic nature. They want to just piecemeal it and try to put it together and then figure out the whole. It is like a reverse. It's weird, strange how they operate. Now, with that being said, this is indicated to the highest order when you look at which statue is outside this Collider headquarters. It's going to have Shiva the Destroyer out there. That's not out there by happenstance. You're dealing with a destructive force on the planet. Some would say demonic force on the planet. I forget the Chinese physicist they interviewed and asked him, why do you want to run this stuff? And he said, well, we're trying to find out what else is out there, to something to that effect. What else we can communicate with and all of this kind of stuff, he says, kind of alluding to what the brother was saying in the comments there. And so they have to smash things and tear shit apart. They had to destroy everything. That's just kind of how that's how they study stuff. From that point of nature. There's another point of nature that takes an opposite approach to study the environment, things that's found in the environment. But from that point of view, they believe in smashing things together. In their minds, partly trying to find the Higgs boson particle. They all but giving up on that. And that's for those who are not aware of what that is in the field of physics. It's just a theoretical particle that Western science says that's supposed to. So it's a particular particle that allows energy to take a form of matter that we can, hold or whatever, solidify matter in that way. And it's something else. It's very interesting. It's a lot. There's so much to say about that Collider. There's so much into that. It's a lot of stuff.
The Chinese physicist, I think his name was like Yang.
Right.
Yang, was it
Something like
Yang?
that.
Yang.
Something like
Yeah, it was
that.
Yang.
I think it was Yang.
It was Yang. Yeah, it's the Chinese physicist, real popular guy. Yeah, that was a good little subject, man. That was a good see because everybody be talking. They like, yo, the Israelite brothers, the Hebrew brothers, this and that. Yo, I dive into a little bit of that, but I don't. My thing is, I dive just to be, that way. Just I'm well rounded to where I'm not an expert, but I can dialogue and have a conversation. You know what I mean? But
no doubt.
The Bible and the commandments is still my square though. All praises to the Most High. Go ahead, brother. Sorry.
Praises, brother. with the onset of the AI, with this being said, with the onset of the AI agenda, given the so-called prophecy where we would see a barcode that would dictate and primarily authorize many transactions as we move further into the future, it's already here. Some has wondered. I think the Bible talks about the placement of this mark on the wrist or on the forehead, whatever. We know it will go on the forehead, so to speak, metaphorically, as to relate how you think to receive such, submit to such services through a barcode modality.
Come on, you
The
got
barcode modality is here. We've seen it give rise during the pandemic. It's called the QR code. That's your barcode, ladies and gentlemen. It's been here for a few years, not a long time, but a few years. It is taking off. It's going to take more popularity as we get into trading, EFT, and various types of cryptocurrencies. It's so much to say about all this stuff. At any rate, and it's all tied into these so-called signs and sign of the times, if you will. As we move further from a human resource, we move towards a machine-based resource. And so it'll make sense to those who understand why Gates and company would say we need to reduce the world's population. We can't just have they don't want just a lot of people walking around here needing to eat and they having babies and everything, creating more mouths and more need or whatever, human need. And there's nothing to do with all these hordes of people. So they figured out they need to reduce the world's population. The machines, they don't need really a robust human population in that regard. Some would even argue whose population do they want to reduce? It's not going to be the Europe. It's like they're not going to primarily target them for population reduction. That's another conversation. At any rate, that'll play into why they need to reduce it. There'd just be too many purposeless or quote unquote worthless hordes walking around here with crime on their minds, starving hordes that we've seen in some of the Purge movies and so forth like that. At any rate, we need to dissolve the Homeland Security Department, right? As we move away from the human resource, because we know we're not going to have to train machines like the human, right? So we don't need buildings. We don't need school buildings, janitors. We don't need school security. We don't need elect superintendents. I can go on and on. We don't need we don't need a robust educational system because we can just download ish into those things' heads overnight, immediately. So particularly as we update the grid up to maybe 7-8G roughly and beyond. And so we'll dissolve that. We'll dissolve the Department of Education or downsize it at the very least. Now, once we start doing that, if you're not going to graduate and really be hired at that levels like that, we're probably going to go ahead and just deprofessionalize a lot of college curricula. They're starting to do that as well. This is all signs of the times, ladies and gentlemen. So now your nursing has been deprofessionalized. Physical therapy has been deprofessionalized. There's about a list. Trump released a list about 13, 14 different career areas. They're all being down-regulated. Not necessarily eliminated, but in time, maybe. But they're down. They're phasing it out or reducing its rate of professionalism, and that creates a whole nother schematic of things. So with that being said, if we're not going to be graduating in robust numbers and creating families or whatever, we're probably going to go ahead and need to dissolve the IRS probably. Notice they're dissolving the IRS. I won't go through all of this stuff, but if you notice, all of this stuff is in the news. This is all in the news right now. And so they're dissolving and reducing the robust, we're getting away from the IRS, a robust IRS that was as it was once known, because humans won't be working like that. See, you won't be making money like that.
You hit it right on the nose. I do agree with you somewhat. The thing is, a lot of these areas now, those areas is obsolete. It's not needed anymore.
Facts.
So if something's obsolete, you get rid of it.
Yeah, it makes sense why they're doing that. Right.
It has no value.
Now right. Facts, brother. Yeah. I mean, if you're not working like that, or we're going to move away from that as we move into the future and downsize as we move further, taper off the need for human endeavor, human labor, particularly, then obviously tax revenue would decrease. Robots don't pay taxes. Makes sense, right? Next, so as we move further with that, since you're not going to be working like that in robust numbers as it once was known, we need to get rid of what next? The labor unions. Bye-bye. So notice the labor unions are being dissolved. So this is why, guys. I tell you guys stuff you won't hear nowhere else, man. This is why they're dissolving. I make sense of all of the chaotic news stories. but I don't debate like that. I'm over mostly in the background, just watching and listening and studying. And so this is what I see. And so they're dissolving the labor unions because of that at a rate we've never seen before. And it'll speed up as we move further along as the human workforce diminishes. Also, it's so much to say. It's so much. So also, it's that since we're reducing everything, we need to reduce. Since you're not going to really acquire much wealth, we're going to need to reduce what you can buy. So obviously, brick and mortar retail outlets, retail pharmacies, and the like. Well, what they'll see reduced demand because there won't be that many people. They won't be really hiring people to run these places physically. So now you'll see a lot of this is why, guys, a lot of retail establishments are closing down nationwide and throughout the Western world for that matter. You're not going to make that much money. You're not going to be working in these places physically, and then on and on. And we're going to automate whatever's left and blah, blah, blah. So now that creates that horde effect, thus the need to reduce yet a population again. And so because you're not working, not earning money to go shop and all this other stuff, then it kind of guys it under crime. It's kind of attacking something. It's not really crime attacking these businesses and CVS. They're closing it down because they're getting moving away from the brick and mortar model. Right. And I can go on and on. It's so many more. The minimalist idea, the minimalist lifestyle, because you're not going to have resources and high earning potential and have a lot of money in the future. We've seen the reports that say we don't have almost a negative net zero, and you'll be happy and all of this net worth and all this. So now you're living in boxes. This is what they're, and I won't go. I kind of stop right there, but they're going. This is where all of that's coming from, and this has been predicted to occur by a lot of people that will happen. They say this will happen during the times that we're living in right now. Yeah.
It becomes obsolete because now, humans are getting more lazier. So the thing is, like you said, we moving away from the brick and mortar. I like brick and mortar. When I shop, I like to go in. I like to see the clothes. I like to try. Don't you know? For the past 2 years, every garment, every piece of clothing that I've purchased have been online delivered to my home. Not because I'm lazy, because guess what? Where I live at, they shut down 3 of the malls close to my area. So the nearest mall, I gotta go 50 minutes to go get something.
Wow.
So, and like I said, it's become obsolete because guess what? Now, guess what? We don't have to pay a light bill. We don't have to rent the spot out. All we do, we have a warehouse. We operate and we move the product out the warehouse. They place the order. We ship it to them. They ain't gotta go nowhere. They ain't gotta waste gas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And indigenous black man, hey man, you need to hop up in here. I kind of like some of his points. What was that at one point? Yeah, and just like the cash. To produce cash, it takes money to produce it. I think they stopped producing pennies because they say it takes 3 cents to produce 1 penny.
Right.
It's fucking obsolete. There's no point. What's the point? And then human being has to operate the press. Lights have to be on. Rent gotta be paid. You in there hitting the thing. Somebody's clocking out. They got health care, so you gotta pay the nigga health care. We don't need it.
Right. It's a key. It's the major underlying. It's a key underlying component. It's the biggest point underneath it all. It's a big reason why they're doing this. The overall reason. Well, I'm gonna wait till you get done.
Yeah. No. You cooked. That was a good point. And you know what I'm saying. What they're doing. What they're doing is they slowly. What I noticed. They slowly pushing out the middle class. So it ain't gonna be no such thing as no middle class. You either gonna be rich or you gonna be poor.
Right. The world's largest wealth transfer is underway. It's been underway for the last couple years right now as we speak. Could probably contribute to that. The ultimate end game here is to create an infrastructure they can believe in and trust, thus control. That's the bottom line. How they get it off? Because you would never agree to any of this stuff, right? Nobody would agree to any of these draconian measures. And that's a whole nother conversation that gets interesting. How they get this stuff off, man, is mind blowing. The tactics is mind blowing. I can go into that at some point, but it's very interesting how they get it off, and you will agree to it. You agree to those measures, the way they're implementing the fear tactics and so forth, and projected onto the unsuspecting masses during this very panicky, tumultuous time on the planet. They know exactly what they're doing. This is all so-called would be surmised to be done by what they call collectively the Antichrist, or the worship of that which is physical. Usually, this will all be taking place in a physical phenomena. No spiritually dead. You got AI as a spiritually dead creation, infused what we call with the spirit of rebellion. But it's so much I can get into. It's just so much stuff, and mindless digital reasoning and all this stuff we talk about. Not wisdom per se, but digital reasoning. Anyway, at any rate, so much to say,
was a
bro. I'll
good
just leave
note.
it there.
They want to control it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
They want to have an infrastructure that they control. The more you control, there's no rebellion, and you have absolute control.
Right.
And then you can manipulate things on how you want to manipulate it. They don't want pushback. They don't want, they don't want the average human being to have a say so. They want more.
They've learned their lesson. Right.
They want everything regulated
Right.
in a controlled infrastructure. But go ahead, because you a lot more articulate in this area than me. So
I'm just trying to keep it going, and diversify our subject, man. Just keep the viewers engaged in another way too, on top, and then tie it all together, and so because I'm still tying this is in my mind still tied into the religious aspect, but also with a technological finesse to it, and also there's an antichrist aspect, and so at any rate, healthcare aspect and all kind of labor, all kinds of military, at any rate, what was I going to say? The let me see. So as we move forward, we'll find out. I mentioned defund the police and defund ICE and all that. So what happened, they'll make the police appear. What we've been seeing over the last few years, the police will become unusually vicious, particularly the black folks and others as well. There's kind of paint a broad brush that we have an issue with the police in general, not just because of racism, but the police is a threat to everybody. At least that's how it's pushed in the media over the last few years. And so there was a echoing, they want to triple arm this particular police to make it militarized, but we would never agree to that. So how they trick you is they'll create like a police force, and they'll act in a very overzealous way and use draconian police tactics. We've been seeing this for the last 5 years, at least 7 years or so. It's been an intensification. And so there was that rally cry, given the so-called spike in crime and all the other things with the foreigners coming over, contributing to the criminal activity, the criminal element, already crime-ridden areas. So much to say. And so that rally cry was heard by some departments and some lawmakers, and they begin to so-called gut some police departments. Now, how they trick you is that crime is going to obviously triple, right? And other things will triple, and they begin to show the effects of that, and that scared the people again to death. So the people ran back to the voters and say, look, triple fund the police. Now we're dealing with a militarized, almost an AI they're fusing AI into the. And noticeably that the Euro population is depleting at the same time conveniently. They're triple arming and barricading themselves behind technology with increased funding, almost military-like for the police department. Brilliant, wickedly brilliant. We're almost dealing with an armament similar to what we've seen in South African apartheid. As the minority, the white ruling minority was almost held to very minuscule levels, as we're trending to here stateside as well. See, the beast is brilliant. This thing, all the religious texts says brilliant. This say so-called Satan is brilliant, and you won't be able to understand unless you're tapped with the spirit. It's wickedly brilliant. It's not a stupid thing per se, but it's wicked, but it's brilliant at the same time. And so here we are again with ICE. So we got ICE again. Oh, we got a rogue ICE department, guys. Just like the police was. Now they going around with fake ICE trucks, right? You got fake ICE cops, no uniform, fake uniforms. Some of them are real, some not. They're doing un-ICE-like police work. Some say they're not cops at all. So they're confusing the kid to scare here. Here's the trick again. They're going to scare you just like they did with the police thing. So now here we are again. We're dealing with a defund the ICE initiative on the plan on the forefront here. Now, as they gut the ICE funding, you're going to see an explosion. You're starting to see an explosion in immigration crossing over in here, and also crimes related to the immigrants and other things that we're seeing with the scams and all this stuff. We're seeing a lot of immigrants raiding gangs, raiding homes where black people, particularly where black folks is, and also attacking some white establishments or whatever. I think ICE even, and I'm talking about ICE. And so lately we've been seeing ICE actually shooting white folks left and right. It's so much to get into, and it's so much we can get into about that. I've even seen a couple of debates back here about it. Was ICE justified in some of these shootings? And so right now, so here we are again. We need to defund ICE because they're clearly they ran like a rogue organization. That's by design, guys. They're going to in turn arm. They're going to arm. Man, you're going to see ICE on a level of the Marines. Give it a few short years, if that. And I'll just take a pause and stop. There's more stuff I can get into.
No, that was a good cook right there. And I don't know how true it is, but I heard something like a lot of the Proud Boy members are segueing into into ICE. Like a lot of those members, right? And that's what these niggas is running around with the mask on. So that's kind of what I heard, but I don't know how true it is because you can't identify them. That's
the point,
so
right there.
Right.
Wait, it's a lot. There's a lot of rumors when in the quote unquote end times. Your reliance and trustworthiness in the news would be downfall by the wayside. This is all by design. It's to confuse you. And so the so-called beast will confuse in the quote-unquote end times. We would see global confusion in levels we've never seen before. That's all by design for the most part. And it's also artificially induced as well. Now, it's also predicted to have occurred, but they're trying to they notice this going to collapse. So you'll see Trump and company trying to enhance, so somebody mentioned earlier, enhance the collapse and kind of run it, kind of get it to speed up. They call it acceleration. They're trying to speed it up so they can kind of be the first one to fix it before it utterly falls apart and somehow get themselves refooted and repositioned for the true arrival. I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that was a good point. That was a good little conversation, man. That was good, man.
Keep the convos coming. Keep them coming and building, man. That's what we do. Hey, I just want to remind everybody
and they got the UFO threat. It's so much. You got aliens in the sky. You got aliens on the ground. They got the people utterly scared stiff.
Most definitely. I do want to let the people
shout out
know.
to Humble, real quick, Humble. I gotta give a shout out to Humble. We just cooked for about 35, 45 minutes, probably a little bit longer than that. Humble didn't interrupt us. Humble didn't come in. Humble sat back and just let us do our thing. So respect the brother Humble, man.
Respect the Humble, my man Humble. Shout out to Humble. Thanks, brother.
Most definitely. Don't forget, y'all, for the ones in the building, we do got the Soul Tribe coming on a little bit later at 9:00 Eastern time. And again, that's I've been grateful to be handed the torch of founder of that family. And if I can just give a little overview right now, the Soul Tribe family is a Beagle family. We started over there on a platform of Beagle. The brother Azrael, we used to all kick it on his panel. And we got so close that we was just like, bro, you might as well turn us into a family. And he turned into a family, the Soul Tribe. And the core group that sat on that panel, man, until this day, we still operate and function like a family. You know what I'm saying? And with them coming on, again, like I said earlier, I'm just showing, the people, just a little bit more of where I come from. Why I rock so hard, why I move the way I move, and just some of the people that I came up under, just some wise and intelligent people, some people with a lot of information. And we've been doing this for a long time. And so I'm just putting them on Front Street, you know what I'm saying? Just to have a good time, man.
Facts, Humble.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
I definitely be in the building because the thing is, I like to know the origin of people. Like, what makes a person tick? Right. Like Where did you come from? What's your how did you get your foundation? How did you get your square? So I think that'll be something interesting to hear. So I'll definitely be tuning in. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Me too. Yeah. That will work. Yeah, it's fair. How long you gonna be on tonight, Humble? You guys gonna keep it going? We can keep it going.
What I'm actually about to do is close this one down. Actually, in a minute, I'm gonna close this one down just because I want to have enough time to set up the other one for the people to come over there. Yeah, I want them to come over there on a whole nother one instead of just hopping on this one. We already.
Hold on. What stage? My bad, Humble. What stage you gonna be on?
No, we still gonna be on this. We gonna be on Titan Debate League. It's just that I'm gonna shut this show down so I can open up the other show at 9:00.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying because I mean I don't like I ain't the
This
only
this
thing
really this show right here was just so I could let JJ know ain't nobody scared of JJ. Ain't nobody scared of Uncle JJ. So that's what this was for. The other live is for my family communal, and that's where the information really get dropped. Although we did drop a whole lot of information in this one, and that's why I appreciate you, brothers, man. Listen, I love the information. Come hard every time. I don't against me, against Tazariak, against A1, against whoever. You see what I'm saying? If we're in an intellectual, scholastic arena, and you got information, if you got sources, if you got something to back up what you're saying, you better come with your best. You feel me? And so, and if anybody on the other side of that not encouraging you to do that, it shows their level of willingness of competition. You see what I'm saying? They don't want you to get better. They just want to feel like they're gonna always be better than you. No, man, I want my competition to be better so I can be better. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's how it's supposed to go. See, while we getting it in, we supposed to come hard. But the thing is, I ain't gotta slander. I ain't gotta say, "Oh, you mop head," or you to be like, "Oh, you dumb Israel, you dumb Israelite nigga." Like we because that's what JJ called Humble. That old dumbass nigga. Yeah.
Oh, that for real?
Pissed me off.
Man,
I thought you made that.
After he got off this show yesterday, this nigga went on there on a freaking 3-hour tirade and he labeled it, "Oh, Humble mop head," like just did like,
oh no,
Humble never called you a name. He didn't disrespect you. Nothing like that. So we ain't gotta sit up here and call each other just because brothers disagree. We ain't gotta call each other names or cuss each other out or get mad and leave and go start and put slander on another brother. We can go in hard, but you see how our conversation, our shit in, it's with love and it's respect and everything is subtle. So I think that's a good example. That's a good example to set.
Right, most definitely.
Totally, brother.
Totally. Real fast. The reason I do that, bro, is because I'm from the rough streets of Baltimore, Maryland, man. Listen, I throw these hands real like where I'm from, we don't talk about one another and get mad. We throw hands, you see what I'm saying? And I don't take stuff like this that serious to even get up under my skin and even get into that mold to want to go there with the brother. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I keep it on the intellect. Listen, when my family come up here, they'll tell you, man, they've taught me that when a person start to veer off course of what y'all talking about, they are inadvertently conceding to intellectual inferiority, so to speak, right? Their intellect, damn, I can't really fuck with this brother, so I gotta distract and put on a show and do the rah-rah because if we go toe to toe with doctrine, I know I ain't got that brother beat.
Well, no, I just want to say something right quick, but before I let y'all brothers, say what y'all gotta say and close it out. So here's the thing here. Come on, Omar, bruv, all love. Omar was going in. See, it is all love, but it's all love to the brothers who show love to me. But sometime a nigga like JJ he need correcting. So yeah, I went in on JJ the other day, but everything I said was the truth. I had to let people know that this guy, he's a lunatic, he's a scumbag, and he trying to come over here, slander people, go on 15, 20-minute tirade, you know what I'm saying? And then he want to say, oh, I want to teach people something. I got knowledge. Listen, a guy who's done the atrocities that he's done, I never take knowledge from a nigga like that. So yeah, when I'm disrespected and it's time to go in, yeah, I hit slow. Like I said, I'm from Chicago. You know, I hits below the belt, but I only do that against brothers who do that against me, which I really haven't to do that against other brothers, but JJ. So 9 times out of 10, it is all love. But every now and then, you know, you got to put a nigga in his place. Shalom.
Oh no, that's a fact. What's up? What's up, OTK?
OTK, what up, bro?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Ken folks?
What's going
How
on,
y'all
brother?
doing, man? Hope
How you
all
doing,
is
brother?
well with y'all and family, man.
Likewise, brother. Likewise.
brother.
Thank you, bro. Much love.
Yeah, man. And Omar, hey, brother, you a real intelligent brother, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You know what I mean? I can tell by the way you talk, man. You carry yourself with dignity. But
Thanks.
you know what I mean, man? Hey, listen, by you just, you know what I mean, egging it on and throwing this man stuff out there like that, bro. We don't do that, bro. You understand what I'm saying, man? Like, they trying to keep it on the information. It shouldn't have to get personal. And that's all I'm saying, bro. Omar, I'm not saying that what you said wasn't real. I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying, bro, you know, brush that off, man, and then we keep going. We already know how JJ7K get down, man. A1 know how he get down. You know, Humble and him, they gonna have a good talk. You know, that's how JJ promote himself. So you know what I mean? That's just all. I'm just saying that, Omar, and I respect you to the fullest, my brother. Definitely.
No, I respect it too, Shalom. But you know, the thing is, you know, sometime a man like me, because like I said, I'm very rough around the edges. Sometimes stuff like that just it need to be said. You can't come on another man's channel, disrespect him, cuss him out, cuss the host out, and then just start slandering people. So the thing is, you can't throw rocks when your joint is glass. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, that was something that had to be done.
Man. My man Omar said, man, I'm real. I can tell you trying to keep it all in, Omar. He's trying to get Omar like, I'm really rough.
Look,
you just understand how rough I can be. I hear you, brother.
Hey, look, I want to get y'all closing remarks, man, so I could focus on setting up this other stream, y'all.
For sure.
Okay, you
We're gonna start with Sadiq. Go ahead, Sadiq.
With me?
Hold on 1 second, OTK. Go ahead, Sadiq.
Okay. First of all, it's a privilege and an honor to be talking to my family, man. We see a lot of us not making it to these platforms, and much less in any regard to have anything remote, discuss anything remotely as important and serious as these issues that we're touching upon. In any regard, we can't even talk to some of our own family members and friends in the house. We go visit them, or at home, at our homes or our jobs. They even have our similar backgrounds, and they're just simply not mentally interested. You know, they're in another state of mind or whatever. They just think it's not important. They don't see the writing on the wall. With that being said, I don't care who come on here. Everybody on here is my fam at the end of the day. I appreciate you guys. And I don't hope I ain't offend nobody. I always include this as a disclaimer and everything that I say. Take it, throw it away. Because at the end of the day, I don't know it all. I'm trying to learn. And so I don't want to come off like a know-it-all, because at the end of the day, I say throw everything I say away, because you take it, leave it alone. But I don't want to sever the relationships with each and every one of you and those in the viewing audience. I care more about that than the information at the end of the day. If I can make them both come together to maintain both in a continuity, blessed kind of a way, I can power up off that and enhance and bless my family and receive blessings in the same light at the same time, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. We appreciate it, brother. Go ahead, OTK.
Yeah, man. You about to start up another screen, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna start one up at 9 o'clock. I'm just getting everybody on my back end ready. I'm getting my StreamYard ready. I just actually want to focus all in. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I want to focus all in on this StreamYard. I want to take this precious hour to get ready, and then everything's smooth.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely. That's respect, man. You gotta have some downtime for yourself. And man, respect to you and brother A1, man. Keep doing what y'all do. Like I always say, bro. You know what I mean? I love the conversations. I love the decorum that's going around and all of that, man. Brother Omar, brother Sadiq Rod, y'all already know, man. Peace and love to y'all. Hope everything is good with y'all. And man,
Peace and love, brother.
yeah, man. We definitely got to get better, man. Because like y'all said, man, with all this stuff going on right now, we definitely got to get better, man. And I think channels like this where we can have discussions gonna get better. Because brother like Humble and A1 bringing people from all different sections, all different walks of life, and we just saying, hey, look, when it's time to come to this table, just leave everything at the door. Your religion, all that, leave that at the door, dog. I don't deal with beliefs. I respect your religion. If it help you, then so be it, dog. If you love it, if you like it, I love it. That's how I get down, man. So you know what I mean? When we get to that spot, dog, we're gonna be all right. That's all I'm saying, man. Keep doing what y'all do, Humble and A1, man. And I see y'all on the flip side. Peace and love.
Peace and love, brother.
Appreciate you. Go ahead, brother Omar.
Yeah, man. So first of all, you got to give a shout out. You got to give respect to my boy A1, the Titan Debate League. Just for being fair and giving a platform for brothers to speak. You know what I'm saying? No matter your belief or your ideology. And you got to give a big shout out to the bruv Humble. Humble always come respectful. He cook. He get it in there. He give a brother the chance to speak. And the thing is, he ain't going to be cutting off. He going to give you your time to cook. And the brother just fell back for like 50 minutes and let brothers cook without interruption. So, I always give respect, man. That's a good young brother, Humble. And I love you, brother. You're a good, solid brother, man. Straight up. Salute to the other two brothers that was on the panel too. Knowledge. What was the other guy? Ra guy?
Yeah.
So salute to them brothers too, man. That was a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people say, "Oh, the Israelite brothers can't hold." I can go into conversations. You know what I'm saying? I can hold my own.
Great conversation.
So you know what I'm saying? I really appreciate the conversation. You see, me and the brother, we didn't cuss each other out. We was both cooking. He cooked, going back and forth. So shout out to the chat too. You know what I'm saying? I know, throw a little jab here and there, but for the most part, chat's respectful. You know what I'm saying? So you got to salute the chat, because without people watching or chatting in, the shit would be boring.
Exactly.
So, salute to the chat. And salute to the brother Humble for holding it down, man. It's much love, man. I'm out here out west. I know y'all boys probably dark out there. It's only it just turned 5 o'clock where I'm at.
Dang, it's 8 o'clock.
I know y'all 3 hours. It's probably dark than a mug out there. Yeah, man. It's just 5 o'clock here. So man, I'm gonna grab me some grub, chill.
Yeah.
And then when I see you come back on in an hour, I jump back on it.
Okay,
that'll be more of a time for me to do more listening than talking. Because like I said, I'm intrigued to hear your background.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying, brother Humble. But you know what I'm saying, man. Let me get up out of here, grab something to eat, so I can prepare. So when Humble jump back on, I can give my undivided attention. Much respect, A1, Humble, Titan Debate League. Everybody, much love and shalom.
Most definitely. Hey man, y'all already know it's your brother Humble, and we closing it out. I appreciate everybody that came through today. I always appreciate the engagements of the comments. That's probably my favorite part, man. Y'all be keeping me cracking up in the comments. I appreciate the brothers that came up on the panel that had the amazing discussions and was able to transition appropriately into other discussions. This is what I love to see. That I love to put melanated excellence, black excellence on display for the rest of the world to be able to say, okay, now we got some intelligent brothers over here. You know, it's not just about us going at one another. It's not just about decorum with one another. It's about how we perceive to everybody else, right? When we get these platforms and all we doing is over talking one another and all we doing is disrespecting one another, you know what they out there looking at us saying? Looking at those Negroes again. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to sit down and write down business plans. They don't know how to come together peacefully and put together a model that will help them benefit for the next 50 years. That's what they look and think about us. But that's why I appreciate the brothers I have around me and the sisters I have around me, because they keep my mind open to the possibilities of us actually creating the next Black Wall Street, solidified Black Wall Street. You know, that's why I gotta give again, man. I gotta give my brother his flowers. A1, you know, elder knowledge. You know, I gotta give him his flowers because he's talking boots on the ground. His book is talking everything we need to do in this day and age to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate everybody in the comments. I appreciate the brothers that came up. Always, I appreciate the brother, the main titan, the boss man, A1, for giving me this opportunity, man, to just come out and show and prove what I can do, you know, in a debate arena as the, you know, in the hosting format and all around about and everything else that I do. So we're going to get out of here and most definitely come back in the hour, 9 o'clock. I'm going to have the Soul Tribe family here. And hey, we're going to get into some more enjoyable conversations. Let's get into it. Soul Tribe, I said Soul Tribe, spot and tighten up.
Family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. He my family, she my family. We are family. We might have the same last name, but that don't make you my family. I got some people with the same blood, and I know that they can't stand me. I got some people I call that ain't kin, that's gonna pull up and handle it. They take care of that business like family. We come from them trenches like family. They talking, you listen, that's family. They don't tell your business, that's family. They calling your phone, coming looking for you. They say that you missing, that's family. They don't need permission, that's family. When you hurt, they get feeling, that's family. Let them come while you're cheering, that's family. Let them come when you living, that's family. Family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family, he my family.